ready. They're ready. I'm ready. Okay. So tonight I'm going to do a little bit of a comparative study between dating and recruiting. And I've given a couple of disclaimers because while I will not talk about my corporate clients, I do not feel the same responsibility about men I've dated. So I have been hiring people and recruiting people since I was 19 years old, and in a little while I'm going to tell you how old I am. You can do the math. And so I've hired everybody from people that sweep floors to people that sweep through organizations. So I've got that down cold. The dating part I started in second grade. Well, I actually held hands with him in line to go to recess, so it doesn't really count as dating. But I started dating officially at 13. And I'm now just over 41 years old. So if you do that math, that's 24 years of dating. That's over 2,000 dates. And that is over 10,077 hours of dating, which, according to this guy, makes me an expert. So we take that combination of being an expert in hiring people and being an expert in dating, and I come up with a couple things that are similar. In both, people tend to be looking for mini-me's. Right? In corporations, people hire somebody that reminds them of themselves, because if they look like me and talk like me and act like me, they must be brilliant. And in hiring, in dating, we do the same thing. Now, some of you have seen this slide from Ignite Boulder. I am a firm believer in the transition man when it comes to dating. The guy who's 180 degrees opposite of that doofus you just dumped. You have to be careful of doing that when you're hiring, because things happen where you stumble upon really stupid people. Like the guy I went out with 3 weeks ago, who when I told him I went to China said, "Oh, I've always wanted to go to China. Where in China did you go? Did you go to Tokyo?" So just for the record, Tokyo here, China here, not the same. Along this, in dating, we tend to come up with a list of things that are our ideals, the thing we absolutely want in those people we date, and our deal breakers. And in hiring, we do a similar type of thing. We just call them competencies. The things that we absolutely must have when people come to work for us and select, do they have to be a good team leader? Do they have to be good at empathy? Do they have to be good at whatever it is? In hiring, they're competencies. In dating, they're deal breakers. Then the next question is, where in the world do we find these people? Now that we know what we're looking for, how do we find them out of everything on all the people on the earth? Well, in dating, we do these crazy things where we go and we talk to people for between 6 and 8 minutes at a speed dating event. And we decide if they, in fact, should be the person worthy of a second date for us. Now, the downside is that studies show that when you make decisions like that under stress, you go for that very guttural response, and only the really attractive ones make it. The same thing can be said of the job fair. I know, and you guys were thinking there weren't that many similarities between dating and recruiting, but look, on Monster.com, we put out our resume to see if we are worthy of getting a job. And on Match.com, we put out our resume, our profile, to see if we are worthy of getting a date. Now, in hiring, there are certain things you can't talk about, right? Protected classifications, you can't ask them about sex, politics, and religion, all things that I think are safe for the dating world. There are some things, regardless of the cause, you should not talk about. Do not give me a 20-minute tirade about your geared-up druid. True story. When you're finished with the date and everything's gone really well, sending a follow-up text is nice to say, "This was really nice. I enjoyed meeting you." When you're finished with a job interview, to send a thank you note and say, "Thank you for meeting me." Once is nice. 7 is stalking. The biggest difference between hiring and dating is a matter of the Zha Zha Zuu. In hiring, you don't necessarily need it, and in dating, you absolutely must have it. That's my profile, that's my information, that's 10,000 hours of dating and hiring wrapped up in 5 minutes. I'm Nora Burns, and this is Ignite Denver. Have a great night.